Hey there, everyone. I'm Samuel Johnson.
And I'm Haley Dudley.
And welcome back to the Phantom Perspective. So today we're going to be discussing episode 45 of Danny Phantom, Livin Large.
What was I supposed to say there?
Your opinions.
I mean, it wasn't that great. Like,
No,
it wasn't that great.
No, it was not.
No.
So, premise. The guys in white come back, only this time they want to buy Fenton Works from the Fentons for a substantially large amount of money. So large that the check is like one of those novelty check sizes. And the Fentons, while thinking that they don't want to sell their crappy old work, see the dollar amount and say, yes, we want to sell. And so they immediately sell Fenton Works. However, Danny has enough for... Danny, of course, right for now, thinks this isn't a good idea, and just to be safe, he locks the portal to the ghost zone so that they can't get in. As such, the Fentons move into this nice, posh mansion that comes with its own butler named Hobson. And they're all just enjoying themselves. Jack and Maddie, despite them losing their old house, decide that they can just restart just make a new lab and new Fenton Works here. Jazz is having fun because her room is a giant library, which she's having fun with. And Tucker is actually taking full advantage of the fact that Danny's rich now and just enjoying all these cool new video games, but Danny thinks that there's still something going on. The Tucker talks him into saying, oh, it's fine, you locked it, remember? It's fine. And so, fine, and that's enough to get Danny to maybe calm down a bit. And a bit too much, actually, all throughout the middle third of this episode, he does not give a damn about anything.
Mm-hmm. Like, basically up to the last 6 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much, because eventually, the guys in white are up to something. What's been going on? The reason they want to get the Fenton Works is because they wanted access to the Fenton Works ghost portal. And the reason they want to do this is because they created an ecto missile, which they wanted to launch into the ghost zone that would completely obliterate it. Just completely get rid of it. No more ghosts. All of it gone. Everybody dead.
Insert evil grin stereotype here.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get to the flaws. But unfortunately, and as such, Sam and Tucker eventually go in to investigate because Sam has not stopped wondering what the heck's going on with them. So they go and investigate, and they see exactly what's going on. But when they eventually they do find out what their plan is. But when they try and tell Danny, he doesn't want to listen. He thinks it's all fine, it's all locked up. That apparently the code is open sesame. That they'll never figure it out because it's so simple. And fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
But even when they tell him that, just because apparently the ghost zone is the flip side of the human world, which kind of makes sense. It's supposed to be their equivalent of the afterlife, so to speak. So I guess it kind of would make sense. Destroy something so heavily tied, especially because then in Infinite Realms they reveal that the ghost zone can actually sporadically opens up to different areas of time in the human world.
I would just assume as a general rule, destroying an alternate universe where it's close enough where there's a doorway in your basement might not be the best idea. Personal opinion, though.
But even Danny doesn't want to even deal with it, as apparently to help pass the time, he created his own robot versions of Tucker and Sam because he's rich. He can do that apparently, and so he has them escort his friends out. So they decide that if Danny's not going to do anything, they will. They try to sneak in. They try to grapple in if it works, but it goes south very fast. There's a guy
threw the grapple hook up. It hit someone in the head.
Yeah, and then they arrested them.
Mm-hmm.
And so after that they lock up Sam and Tucker, even though logically I don't really understand why. I think they're government agents. They can tell them to get the hell off their property.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time,
what are they gonna do to stop them?
Apparently stand there and snark and then just give them the information they need.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the thing. They eventually Tucker unwittingly gives them the clues to figure out what the code to open the ghost portal is, because he says it's the easiest thing in the world. It's like, says who? Says me. Open says me. Try that.
Sesame, open sesame. Yeah, that's how they figure it out. Really?
To be fair, it's such a simple solution.
But see, that could have just been us, like, you could have been like, they could have just sat there and say, really, that's what your guess is? Open sesame, how stupid do you think we are? Instead, Tucker goes, oops, and then Sam gives him the death glare.
Well, to be fair, even they acknowledge that that's probably the stupidest thing in the world, but they say, yeah, but it's Jack Fenton.
Yes, but if you could play, like, even if Sam and Tucker had sat there and said, even Jack isn't that ridiculous, they probably would have believed him.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe?
they don't seem like they're not the brightest bulbs on the tree, but you know what? I feel like you could, like, they would just, I don't know. I mean, honestly,
I think you can make an argument either way, really.
Yeah, with this particular episode, if he put it as Z218HL46, I'm pretty sure they would have found some way to just let that be, whoops, we accidentally discovered the password.
Well, anyway, Danny eventually apparently starts getting tired of his wealth after Sam chewed him out the last time they saw each other.
Yeah.
And Hobson eventually tells Danny that maybe this isn't what he should be doing with his life, that maybe he should actually do something. And so Danny decides, you know what, you're right. I am going to try and stop this. And so he thinks that if he wants to stop that missile, he has to get into the ghost zone. Unfortunately, they don't have a portal at Fenton Works because apparently Jack has a drill that he thought would drill a portal to the ghost zone, but in reality it was just a very expensive looking coffee maker, so it doesn't really do anything.
It says on it for novelty purposes only.
And unfortunately Fenton Works is too heavily guarded, so he can't get in that way. So he instead decides to go to his next door neighbor, who, since they're now living in the posh section of Amity Park, it's Vlad. Mm-hmm. So he manages to find Vlad's portal, and I'm kind of wondering why apparently Vlad has this portal now behind a giant portrait of himself, even though in his last mansion he had a lab for all this stuff.
Yeah, but you found it in the last mansion now, didn't you?
That is true, but that is actually true, but even then, it's still nice to have a lab.
Yeah. But he's not, Vlad isn't the science guy. Like, I understand I would want it in a lab. Just seems like that's the place for a ghost portal, in the lab. Duh.
But he kind of is a science guy. Yeah, he doesn't usually invent the stuff, but he is smart and he can make stuff.
He's smart and he can make stuff and he is capable, but he's not driven by science. Like,
he's driven by ego.
The only reason Danny has access to the ghost portal is because his mom and dad are obsessed with capturing ghosts.
That is true. But even then, I still would make the argument that Vlad would still be smart enough to have a lab and so forth. I think that would be at least
I'm
be
not
the thing.
saying he isn't. I'm just saying, why when you can hide it behind a giant picture of yourself with a gold statue?
It wasn't even a lab there. It was just a portal. Why? Exactly. That's
exactly.
Even a stupider thing. Why would you have the portal in your main office? I know it makes accessibility easier, but still. Still, all someone has to do is just because in order to access the portal.
Watch, if it comes up again and then in like a future episode, it'll be in the lab. Everything will be good, like kosher.
Yeah. The lab, in order to access the portal and behind the portrait, you have to open up a bust, hit a button, and the portrait goes away. All someone has to do is lean on the bust, find the button, and boom. To be fair, who would lean on a bust? They're fragile.
I mean, yeah.
But anyway, so Danny flies into the ghost portal, and to get in, he gets a little bit of help from the ghosts inside. Like, he steals Johnny 13's bike, passes by Youngblood and Skulker, and he informs them about what the guys in white are going to do. And so the guys in white manage to open the portal, and they're about to shoot their missile in. But with the help of these other three ghosts, they manage to get a giant boulder and
to a slingshot and shoot it at the hole.
And that somehow clogs up the portal. And so when they shoot up the missile, the portal, it's instead of just, and I think it probably would have at least destroyed the rock because it's an ecto rock.
Yeah, it should have destroyed the rock. I mean, there should have been some sort of damage on the outside.
Instead, all it does is explode and send out ecto goop everywhere.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Sam said something about like it being a novelty thing, but like, really, like if it's actually written as it's a novelty missile, really, that's your big finish? Like, we went through all of this, you've given us unsatisfying storyline up to this point, and then you let the climax be it's a novelty missile?
Yeah. That might have been just a throwaway line because apparently it's harmless in the real world, but still.
I mean, either way.
Yeah, build up to nothing, pretty much. And apparently, and the guys that might have been having trouble with stuff in the Fenton lab for the entire time. So this is the final last straw, and they just finally go nuts. But conveniently, the Fentons come in and say they had a bit of buyer's remorse, want to buy the place back, and they say, hey, take it, it's yours. They run out until they move back in, and they realize that maybe they were happier here, even though none of them really went through an arc, save for Danny. But then
I mean, it's like
it happened.
Yeah.
The episode just happened, and if you can't tell by our reactions and by just us stating it, we didn't like this episode.
No.
But before we start, before we get down to why this episode doesn't work, let's at least talk about what we liked. For starters, Hobson.
Yes.
Hobson is good.
Yes.
He's pretty much the Alfred style snappy butler with some kind of smart alecky advice or some smart alecky thing to say or some nice advice. Yeah. And I admit while Danny finally deciding to give a damn did come out of left field, Hobson's advice was actually well written and nice.
Yeah, I mean Hobson was he was a well-made character. He had good lines. He was great, but he was a small role. Like
he was a background character.
I would have liked him to be more. Honestly, that if he had 3 more lines, I would have liked this episode more.
Yeah,
just something.
And there were some okay gags of seeing the Fentons trying to revel in their riches and so forth.
Yeah, I did find it funny the beginning. When they all when Matt.
They were trying to build this thing to somehow get better cell phone service.
They were gonna get cell phone service with no roaming charges. Long distance cell phone service with no roaming charges. Danny had to lean against this thing so that it just stayed slightly tilted to the left. Sam had to hold a satellite so that the antenna pointed above the taco sign, because that's where the satellite was in orbit, and that was where had to triangulate that stuff. I sound super techie. Yeah. I know, right? And then Tucker's job was to stand next to this thing with a little screen, and they said every time it goes fuzzy, just take this mug and hit it on the top. That was his job, and that is how they got this thing to function.
Actually, that's another joke I liked. It was stupid, but it was just kind of funny because they left that mug there when they moved. So the guys in white, whenever they had trouble, they discovered that it's like.
Did you try hitting it with the mug?
Because that seemed to have solved everything. Like they caused a power outage at one point, and one guy just hit the generator of the mug. He's like, I don't know what happened, but I hit the generator of this mug, and it just all worked.
Yeah,
that was actually funny. There were still some good gags in the episode.
Yeah,
and there were some good jokes, good expenses, and I like seeing the Tucker robot continue abusing Danny.
It was entertaining to watch, and it had its entertaining moments. I will admit that.
But overall, but what we think didn't work. Well, for starters, Danny.
Yeah.
A thing with season 3 that actually has been consistent for the most part is Danny's character has been consistent. There have been some retreads here and there, but otherwise his character's been fine, has otherwise been left unharmed. There was one episode, in Torrent of Terror, when he got the weather powers, he had to be kept happy or else the weather powers he got would have destroyed everybody. But he's intentionally using them to abuse Vlad, and regardless of Vlad's flanderization, Danny would probably do that to screw with Vlad. Mm-hmm. But this episode, all it took for him to turn into a greedy, rich, I don't give a damn about everybody asshole
was Tucker basically going, "Come on."
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That was all it took. And after that, he doesn't care. Even when they tell him the world is probably going to be destroyed, his response is, "That's not my problem anymore. I'm rich. Get the hell out."
He doesn't care until Sam calls him a rich snob or something like that. That's when he cares and is like, really? That's what it took. She had
No, that was what got him started. Hobson was what got him to turn. Yeah.
But still, really?
Hobson is the wisest of them all.
Yeah, but then even still, Danny coming to him, I don't know. Counting my money isn't fulfilling anymore. Talking to my robot friends is no longer fun.
Yeah,
What am I supposed to do to complete my life?
And we've already kind of covered this kind of storyline before. I think we've covered it a couple times, actually. Ultimate Enemy, the episode with Sidney Poindexter, the one where he encountered Technus. All of them had similar plots. Don't be an asshole, but they all did them well. When they introduced Sidney Poindexter, Danny was using his powers to just kind of was abusing his powers, and it bit him in the butt something fierce. With the episode with Technus, he did abandon his friends to become more popular, and then when he was finally got what he wanted, not only did it feel hollow because everyone was ignoring him, but there was no one there to share this with. There was all that stuff in there. And on top of that, the Ultimate Enemy showed what would happen if he did start making the wrong decisions in life. It led him to becoming the world's worst monster. Yeah. That helped thing. But then suddenly he's rich and suddenly he's like, fuck the world. I'm rich now.
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want.
I mean, it wasn't even his attitude. It was the fact that when, because in the past, Danny has that screw everyone else attitude before, But... I mean, at least I've seen it occasionally. I don't know if you agree with me, but
he does kind of have it occasionally. But he's still a good kid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what my point. Though the thing is that when someone comes and says, "Look, shit's hitting the fan. We need your help now," he puts on his business suit and he goes. I mean, business suit relative, but
whatever. But like even a reality trip, like you can make whatever flaws you can about. You can say whatever flaws you want about that. And Danny did want to just ignore the problem and have fun on summer vacation. But that was kind of understandable. It was summer vacation. He wanted a break. He thought that maybe he thought, and on top of that, he thought Freak Show wasn't a big a threat. But he didn't ignore the threat either.
No,
like when Freak Show was there, he did suit up and fight him. He may not have wanted to, but he still did it because it was the right thing to do. He sees the bad guy there, but he's told there's a threat to reality. We're all probably going to die. He says, who cares? It's not my problem anymore.
I would have been willing to let it slide if, instead of saying, letting us know they have a missile and they're going to destroy the ghost world, if they were just like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? And it was just relax. It's locked. No problem. And then let it be that until, Sam and Tucker know. And then, that. I would have been more accepting of that than they come with him. Listen, they're going to destroy the ghost zone. It could destroy our reality too. And he's like,
even when they say that the possibility exists that they could open the lock, he still blows them off. And again, in the episode's defense, I suppose, it is a simple lock, and he was a bit confident that everything was fine. But again, all this came from Tucker.
Would season 2 Danny
trust
Open Sesame just to protect the ghost, like to protect all of reality?
Debatable, because it was from Jack, and every season Jack would probably do that. So I don't know.
No, because it was set by Danny. Danny was the one who locked it. He locked it as.
But was it hidden? But made the code.
Yeah.
The keypad was there, but maybe the code was already set.
Well, I mean, either. Well,
I still think Jack.
And they're never going to guess what the code is. Oh, well, either way. Either way, who is going to trust Open Sesame as your code for one? And then if it came from his father, who is going to trust Jack Fenton to lock away, like, oh my goodness. Who is going to trust him with anything that could cause any sort of damage?
Again, I would have been okay with him probably getting full of his money and then maybe needing to be brought down to earth. But the thing that should have brought him down to earth was that they were going to blow up the ghost zone. Even if he was confident that they wouldn't open the ghost portal. Even if he was confident that they probably wouldn't do that, he would at least check.
Yeah.
Like you said, wait, they're going to destroy the ghost zone? I probably should at least look and make sure that it's still locked. Yeah. That is what Danny would do. Even if he was still full of himself, I feel like something like that's something he would do. At least to assuage their fears and say, look, see, it's fine. We don't have to worry about this.
Yeah. But just in case thing wasn't there. And I feel like that's something that
should have been the wake-up call. That should have been the wake-up call. That should have been the wake-up call instead of Sam saying he was a snooty dumbass. Yeah. And a bigger problem with this episode, the guys in white. Now, we have complained about them. They're morons. They're idiots.
I have accepted them as comic relief, at least. So,
yeah, they're comic relief, at least.
You can let them live as comic relief. They made them evil.
Yeah. Like, before we've seen them seen them in the antagonist role in other episodes. You're getting a little out of frame there. But we've seen them in the antagonist role before. You're doing that on purpose now.
Anyway,
we've seen them in the antagonist role before in the episode. Like in one episode, Double Cross My Heart, they were trying to go after they were actively trying to hunt for Danny because they thought because they couldn't let a previous Spectre like him run without any authority, whatever. So they were the antagonists in the episode, but again,
that's
their job.
Yeah, that seems like they were supposed to be doing that.
Yeah, even if Danny was a good guy, they
would have gone after him. No matter who that was in that situation, they would have gone after him.
Yeah, it was a stupid thing to do, but makes sense. But here, they're card-carrying supervillains at this point. Like, they gleefully say, we're gonna blow up the ghost zone, then no more specters. We're all gonna... And then when everyone tries to say, no, you're gonna blow up the world, they just keep shushing them. It's like, no, we're in the right here. We're the good guys. We're
wearing
fine.
white.
we're all fine. No, they're mustache twirling, evil grin. They don't have mustaches, but you know what I mean.
They have the stereotypical, like, sly smile whenever they say anything.
Yeah, even the tone just kind of sounds like something that Snidely Whiplash would say in a Dudley Do-Right cartoon. That, they turn them into just straight up villains. And I know they're supposed to be antagonistic forces, but they're not like that kind of antagonistic forces. They're not evil.
They're not malicious. Like, even if they had played it as, they wanted to blow up the ghost world, but they were like, we'll finally be free of all the ghosts and we'll be doing great things. That would have made sense. This was, we're gonna blow up the ghost zone.
I think what would have been better is if, I think an easy excuse for them to actually get out this is if they actually listed all the various threats that came from the ghost zone, like Pariah Dark or... not Freak Show, but all these various threats that have come from the ghost zone. That would have been an easier excuse, like saying these things have commonly continued coming from the ghost zone. So our solution, we need to get rid of the ghost zone. That would have been a if
they had a mission. That's I suppose like that.
Yeah, it would have been short-sighted, but that would have made sense if they actually gone over everything. But if they don't explain that, instead they just say we're gonna blow it up. No more specters and everything. Yeah, no, they don't.
They all but evil laugh at the end though. That's the thing. Like, it really is. And I agree with you. Like, if they had a mission, even if they you could have played it that their mission was to blow up the ghost world because all these baddies are coming through. And they could have still kept the whole, but that's going to destroy our reality. And because, they're the men in white, they could just go, you're wrong. That would have totally flied. And then, it would have been the men in white and exactly how they do. That would have been okay.
Yeah. Idiots with with good intentions, but idiots still. Yeah.
But they tried to actually make them villainous.
Yeah. And that's the biggest problem, I think. Well, not the biggest problem, but I feel like that's just part of the bigger issue with that episode. It's just that I feel like the arc with Danny didn't make any sense. It's been done better in other episodes. The posh, rich, dumbass thing, I felt like it could have gone somewhere, but they go take a complete 180 with it and don't know what they're doing. And the guys in white subplot was just, and the guys in white were just bad. Yeah, they were just dumb, and it didn't make and it was just kind of like they're idiots, but not like this. Yeah, and it just. It just hampered it just kind of hampered the whole episode for us.
I will say that while I do appreciate Hobson and that he's amazing.
Yeah, Hobson was the best part of the episode.
He was. I don't feel like he should have been the one that knocked Danny out of his thing. Like, it just, he has, what about Hobson, aside from being his butler for, 5 minutes? Yeah. What about him made him so special that he was the one who was able to bring Danny back down to Earth?
Again, it should have been the moment when, it should have been with them telling Danny, they have a missile and they want to destroy the ghost zone. That should have been what got Danny to make the turn. Yeah. But actually, what would have been cool if Hobson came in at the climax and helped them. Yes. He just comes in, does something kick ass, and will that anything be? What do you want? Do you want anything else, Master Dan? He's like, no, Hobson, that'll be all. Thank you.
And then just grab his bags and leave.
That would have been awesome.
That would have been great. I would have been super happy about that.
Hobson, the Chuck Norris of Danny Phantom.
He just showed up for one episode and then was gone.
But yeah. While there were parts of the episode that we did like some good gags here and there, otherwise, the plot kind of was dumb. The villains were dumb. The conflict and resolution was dumb. It's just another dumb episode.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah. That's pretty much all we have to say, though. So, thank you for watching. I'm Sam Johnson.
I'm Haley Dudley.
And I'll see you next week. Take care.